It's time to pour it, stir it up, and serve it up. This is the Morning Coffee Podcast Show, your unofficial wake-up call. Here to help you live your best life and revolutionize your relationships, faith, inspiration, and love. Start your day the right way with Morning Coffee. Here's your host, Tanisha R. Atkins.
Good morning. You are tuned in to the Morning Coffee Live Show. I am the host, Tanisha R. Atkins, back with another fantastic episode for you this morning, all to help you to take your life to the next level, live your best life, revolutionize your relationships. That's our purpose here at Morning Coffee. If this is your first time catching my podcast, I want to welcome you over to Morning Coffee. Come on in, take a listen to the episodes. I guarantee you will hear something that will help you to take your life up to another level. We are at the end of season 3, where we have been talking about taking your life off of the repeat cycle. And it's been an amazing season, and we're going to continue on to talk about that. Today, now yesterday, and the day before, we've been talking about change and how you have to make a change. You know, we've been talking about what does it mean to live your life on the repeat cycle. I think that's important that we understand. What does that mean? You know, hopefully, if you've been sticking with me all season long, you understand what I mean when I say that, to live your life on the repeat cycle, to continue to make the same habits, choices, whether they be good or bad, doing the exact same things, because what happens is when you live your life that way, you continue to have the same experiences and encounters over and over again. And so for you, if you are a person who say, I'm tired of kind of living like this. I'm tired of kind of feeling unfulfilled. I'm tired of feeling overwhelmed. I'm tired of feeling like my life doesn't measure up. I'm tired of feeling like there's something more. Then this season was definitely for you. So be sure to back up and catch the entire episodes and the seasons and this season. So today what I want to talk to you about is I want to talk to you about why it is important to take your life off the repeat cycle. I want to talk to you from a 3D perspective, and I want to talk to you about what's really happening. Now, early on in the season, we talked about Eve. We talked about how the enemy was able to deceive her and get her eyes off of what God said to her, where she was. You know, we talked about how she was living in the Garden of Eden and she had everything that she needed and wanted right there in the garden. And we just talked about how the enemy was kind of come in and tripped her up. And so it totally got them evicted. Like, I really thought about that today. I was like, you know what? After they did that, they got evicted out of the Garden of Eden. And it just reminds me that when it comes to the enemy, to Satan and everything, he tries to be strategic, because you have to remember that he tries to imitate God. And you know, God always has, how the Bible says, he already planned out and mapped out our steps. So if I'm trying to be like somebody, and if I'm trying to copy and imitate them, then I may do things the way that they do. I may try to do things the way that they do, because he can never do what God does. He doesn't have that kind of power. But if I can imitate you, or attempt to imitate you, I can pick up on some things you do and say, let me try that over here. And so this is one of the tools that I believe that he uses to keep our lives on the repeat cycle. And that's why it's important to stay focused on the bigger picture. Because when your life is on the repeat cycle, you don't tend to think about or vision what's on the other side, because you're so wrapped up into what you have going on, whether it be a toxic relationship, a substance abuse situation, anything. You know, when you say repeat cycle, it could be maybe you keep getting into debt over and over again. Whatever your thing is, maybe you keep overeating and eating the wrong things all the time. But you want change. I'm talking to the people that lives are on the repeat cycle, but they desire change. Because I kind of want to help you to see the big picture so you can press past that. But the thing is, while you're repeating those same habits and choices and situationships, what's happening is, again, you're not focused on what's on the other side. And I believe this is the tool that the enemy uses to distract us, to keep us going round and round and round in the toxic relationship we are. And I say relationship a lot because I want you to know that this is not just limited to some bad habit or something you have. It could really be a real bad situation that you're in with somebody in the wrong environment over and over, and you know it's not the right thing. But what the enemy will cause you to do is, if God is telling you on one side, you need to get out this situation. You need to move. You need to leave. You need to change your eating habits. So you need to change up the way you're doing some things. Stop smoking, stop drinking, whatever it is. But if he has your mind so wrapped up into the enjoyment of those things, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, because you can say, I really desire to lose weight, but I just enjoy eating so much. Well, then that's his strategy, to get you to focus on the eating and how enjoyable it is, or how enjoyable the cigarette is, or how enjoyable the drinking, or the fornication, or the cheating on your wife, or whatever it is that you have been repeating that's a bad habit or a bad situation. So you have to remember, if he can keep your mind like that, focused on the enjoyable part of it, then you won't, again, focus on the bigger picture. The bigger picture is, if you continue along that path in that toxic situation, whatever it may be, you're going to crash. And that's what he don't tell you. See, this is awesome, because when he presented the situation to Eve with the fruit, right? He never told Eve that if you eat this, God is going to evict you out of heaven. Your whole situation is going to change, because he doesn't tell you things like that. He only gets you. He wanted her to realize that this fruit is delicious. This is the fruit you want. Imagine how it would feel, and how it would taste to taste this fruit. Oh, it must be something special about this fruit, about this tree, because if he said don't touch it, so he flipped the switch on Eve. He made Eve think that God was trying to deceive her when he was the one deceiving her. And that's what I'm telling you. Like, we have to, when we see something is not working, when we know that God is called, like back to Eve, I'm just going to keep using her. She knew beyond a shadow of a doubt what God said to her. She was very clear. We read it. If you missed that episode, go back and check it out. If you're feeling like, Eve, what is she talking about? I did a whole episode on a few of the greats from the Bible. But you have to stay focused on the bigger picture. If God is telling you to do something or not to do something, it's for your own good. God didn't necessarily either tell Eve, if you eat from this fruit, that you're going to have to leave the Garden of Eden. I don't remember hearing him to say that in the Bible. I don't remember hearing him say that, Lord. I don't remember reading that, I'm sorry, in the Bible. So it's important that when you read your Bible or you study your Bible, that you really stop and meditate on what's happening here. Because a lot of us have read the story over and over about Adam and Eve, and God made them in the image of God, and then this happened, then they got kicked out of the garden. But there's a lot of key elements in there that will really help your life if you really slow down and pay attention and take it and apply it to your life. Who's in your life deceiving you? Who's keeping you on the repeat cycle? Who's keeping you there? Who's making you think that this lifestyle is okay? You have to really examine the people that are in your life and that are in your ear, because like we talked about yesterday, your mindset, because that's how the enemy got her. He got her to change her mindset about what God said, even though she was clear, she was confident, she knew what he said, but just the right words, just the right strategy, and he got her offset and got her evicted out of the garden. So it's important. So when I say take your life off the repeat cycle, it's because I want you to see the bigger picture. Now, if your life is fine and you you have your strategy down and everything is working for you and you're growing and you're getting better and better as time goes by, then that's wonderful for you. I would say keep doing what you're doing. Still always find ways to level up and make yourself even better if you have already developed those new patterns and habits. But if you have not, I want to encourage you to focus on the bigger picture and don't focus so much on, but I enjoy this. I enjoy this because, again, think about that fruit. Think about that fruit and think about what it will do to you or what it is doing to you to continue to partake of things that are not good for you. Wasn't this a great episode? I am just so blessed by God and just all of his amazing wisdom. I have really been enjoying this podcast, and I pray that you have too. That's going to be it for today. That's going to be it. And then guess what? Next week is our last week on season 3, but I promise you, season 4 is going to be bigger and better. So we are just getting started. We are not going anywhere. We're going to be around for seasons to come until God say, hey, that's enough. Pass the torch on. Other than that, I'll be right here. Well, I want to invite you to connect with me on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we are on YouTube at Morning Coffee Live Show. I want to know what you thought about today's episode. Connect with me. Leave me some feedback, and do me a favor. Go rate the podcast, whatever app you're listening to this, whether it be Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Spreaker, Castbox, wherever you listen to this at, do me a favor and go back and rate the podcast and let someone know that we're on and share this message, because we need to hear these type of messages to live an effective Christian life. And God wants the best for us. He wants us to live the abundant life, and we just have to pay attention to what's going on behind the scenes. What's the real motive behind it? Well, have a great, amazing day, a great, amazing weekend, and I will see you all Monday. It's going to be bittersweet to say goodbye to season 3, but I know that I've covered a lot of ground, and I know that you're ready now to take this summer to apply all these things that we went over. Well, have a great day, and I'll see y'all Monday.
Every day I wake up with purpose, starting my day with faith and inspiration. Wouldn't have it no other way. Live, laugh, love. Let's make the world better. Give somebody a hug. Let's bring the world back together. With morning coffee, let's have morning coffee. Morning coffee. Start your day with faith, inspiration, and love. Start your day with faith, inspiration, and love.